Let's give a warm welcome to AT&T's Glenn Lurie.
Good morning. Good morning. You guys all had your coffee, right? Really important as we think about what's next. I want you to think about a couple of things. First question I get asked all the time, is smartphone growth done? The answer is no, of course not. There's tons of gas in smartphones. We have tons of opportunity to continue to grow them, right? But when you think about what's next, you think about what's gonna happen, let's just call it the next 15 years. And for most of us, just thinking 2 or 3 years ahead is kind of scary in this business. Things are changing so rapidly, right? Which really I want you to think about is where we're headed. So I want to hit a couple of key areas that we view will be very, very important as we think about what comes next. I also then plan to kind of peel that onion a little further and dig into a few of the verticals that we think are going to be very important to us. But let's start here. So first of all, mobile video is number one. I'm going to hit that. I'm going to hit it as an industry level. Number two is connected home. Now, we've had a lot of talk about connected home, security, automation. I want to dig into that. And certainly last but not least, I want to talk about IoT. Now, again, it used to be called M2M, connected devices. We've kind of all funneled around that one term of IoT, right? And I want to get into this. So let's start with video. Really important point that I want to make. Our future in this industry, in our opinion, is about mobility and video. Right? People having the ability to take their content, view it anywhere, anytime, on any device they want. So if you look at this today, so exabytes, 25 exabytes. In 2014, globally, 45% of the usage on our networks was video already. We actually came out earlier this year and said 50% of the usage on the AT&T network is video. Right? And I also believe, and we feel good the stars are aligned to support this. But what's really interesting is the next view, right? Which is that. So this is where the massive growth is gonna come. And you start to think about 22 times in the next 5 years of video consumption on mobile devices. And by the way, I don't want you to just think about smartphones. I want you to think about tablets. I want you to think about cars. I want you to also think about the enterprise marketplace and where that makes sense. So this is one of those places we have to concentrate. Now you're all thinking, well, Glenn, you're probably gonna talk about the DirecTV acquisition, and I will in a little while. But that's just one component, and a very important component for AT&T as we look at content being viewed on mobile devices. Second one I want to hit from an industry level is this one. This has been something we've talked about for years. Right, it's the smart home, it's the connected home. It's happening, right? It's happening today. And by the way, when we talk to customers, the home is the first place they want to talk about, right? It's the place that is very personal to them. And when they talk about what are the things they want in their home, and by the way, if I would have asked all of you in 2000, what do you want your smartphone to do, what would you have told me? You didn't know, right? We didn't know what we didn't know. We didn't know what an app store would do. Same thing goes here. Do we really know what we want our home to do? I think we're getting there. The interesting thing about this is the growth opportunity is huge. And when you look at these numbers, you might say, Glenn, what's the definition of 700 million homes? What's in them? Right? I would argue what's in them could be a camera, right? Could be a thermostat. It could be an end-to-end security and automation system. The point is the space is huge opportunity. And with that, with 3.5 times growth, we believe we want to take advantage of it, and I will get into it more in a few minutes. The other very, very high level space is IoT. This is one of those spaces that I hear people talking about all the time. And it's very, very hard to define because it's everything, right? It is everything. Every single thing in our lives is going to be connected. Let me say it a different way, right? If a device is connected, it's smart. If a device is not connected, it's dumb. If a device is connected, it can communicate with other devices, with the internet, with you. This is where we're headed. And it's not just about the things you know today, it's about everything. And I'm gonna dig into this much deeper because we've taken obviously a very big interest in this in AT&T for quite some time. I'm very proud of our and where we have been and what we have done up to this point when you start thinking about this term of delivering the future first. We have a very, very simple, and I give our CMO, David Christopher, credit for this. We look at the smartphone as a remote control for your life. Now, I have been asked questions all this week. Well, how long is a smartphone, and is it going to be something else? Doesn't matter. There's going to be a device that runs your life. Today, that device is a smartphone. Today, that device, how many of you leave your home without your smartphone? Exactly. Exactly. My daughter, I think she's super glued it to her hand. She's 19, right? She absolutely has to have it at all times. But if you look around this water wheel for a second, this is what will drive it. Now, it does not mean that around this water wheel, folks, they're not all going to be connected. They are. Every device is going to be connected. It's how do you want to manage that? And I will end this discussion today talking about customer experience, because this scares people, not us, right? Us in this room are all here because we like shiny objects and we're probably nerdy and we get into this. Rest of the world that we need to get the velocity with, we have to convince that this is how the world's going to go. One that I think is also very, very exciting is PerMobile. PerMobile is a wheelchair company. And they came to us, and actually they came into our foundry, which is our innovation center, and they said, look, we'd like to connect our wheelchair. And what we really want to be able to do is understand the battery levels, be able to track where it is, see diagnostics, as well as we want to understand one of the biggest issues is the pressure of the cushion on the wheelchair. So think about that, really simple concept. And what they actually said, and they worked with us, and it's incredibly cool. If you go over to our exhibit here, we have one. They wanted the caregiver to be able to look and see these things, and in fact, if they had to put more pressure and pump up the cushion, they could from the app, which is exactly what we did. So very, very simple examples of where we are and what we're doing. Let me move now. I'm gonna play a video that's gonna give you a little bit of another understanding of where AT&T is having an impact on people's lives, and this also fits in the healthcare world, so please play the video.
My job is to fix broken hearts. Everything I do, all day, every day, is about timing. When we're making a decision about a heart, there's no room for miscommunication. What we're really transmitting across the network is life. In my operating room, we stream music to match the heart. A healthy child's heart beats at around 100 beats per minute. If it's got the beat, we just know that everything's going to be okay. It really is a huge relief to be able to walk out there and tell them the child has a new heart, and I think it's going to work. I just feel very blessed to be able to do that.
Pretty awesome, pretty amazing what we can do by connecting devices. To put that back up, you gotta think about the fact that this is about the customer experience, right? We can talk about how cool it all is. We can talk about all the things we shouldn't want to do in this room as an industry, but it's gonna be what the customer views and how the customer feels about what we're trying to bring them. So really critical for us is this needs to be a single experience. Today, when you're doing this, it's not a single experience today, right? You've got an app for every single thing. I got an app for my car, an app for my home, an app for my dog collar, or whatever you have. We've got to try to bring a single experience to customers. Really, really important for the industry to do that. Number two, it's got to be simplified. In other words, how they do this has got to be a simplified solution. And last, and probably the most important, is we have to allow these things to take care of us. So my last point is this. The future of where we're headed is about these inanimate objects really taking care of us. So